Hello and welcome to Take 6. I am streaming executive producer Thomas Mates. Julie Broughton is out on assignment today, so you are unfortunately stuck with me, or fortunately, if you like my general vibe. Anyways, today we've got a lot on tap. We're going to be talking about the big win for Lake Mary Little League, the Lake Mary Little League All-Stars. They're on their way back right now, along with New 6 anchor Justin Warmoth. He is going to be hitting the road in just a few seconds to fly back home to Central Florida, and I'm sure he is eagerly awaiting seeing his own bet again. But before that, we have a look at schemes and ripoffs. So this is a long-running series of ours. We're looking at the people who are out there targeting the most vulnerable people in our community. This week, the scheme comes directly to us from the IRS. They've been going around the country warning people about schemes rather, that are targeting the elderly. And our new 6 investigator, Lewis Bolden, has sat down with a member of the IRS to talk about the phone scams that they are seeing that are popping up out there, targeting senior citizens in Central Florida, looking to get their money off of them.
Senior scams, how common are they?
Very common, unfortunately.
He is the Internal Revenue Service's top brass. Commissioner Danny Werfel says scam artists are pretending to be IRS officials to get your money.
The number one senior scam we see are IRS impersonation scams.
People over the age of 60 lost a combined $3.4 billion to fraud in 2023. Werfel says the bad guys can rig caller ID to make a call look official.
He says they will call, email, or text you claiming you owe back taxes or there's a problem with your return. And he says they typically want to be paid fast.
They will indicate that there is some outstanding tax debt that is owed. And that's a lie, it's fake.
Werfel says the IRS's first contact with you will always be a letter in the mail. It is not a phone call, email, or text message.
He also says the IRS does not leave pre-recorded, urgent, or menacing messages. They also don't request immediate payment by gift cards, prepaid debit cards, or cashier's checks.
And we really urge taxpayers to know the signs. There are things the IRS would never do. And if you see it happening, you know it's a scam.
If you think you've been the victim of a scheme or ripoff, email me at lbolden@wkmg.com. Remember, don't fall for the scheme, don't get ripped off. Getting results, I'm Lewis Bolden, News 6.
All right, that is some important information for everyone to know, but especially our seniors out there who are being targeted by this. To get a little bit more information on this, we want to be joined by our News 6 photographer and investigative producer, Robert Breuer. Robert, how are you doing today? Thank you for joining us here on Take 6.
Good, thanks for having me.
Excellent, excellent. Last time we had you on, we had a series of technical difficulties. Everything's going smoothly so far. You can hear me. I can hear you. I know, right? Well, we're in good shape at the moment. So, Robert, the IRS came to us with this. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, they've been doing. That was the commissioner they talked to. He has been doing a whole national press tour, if you will, warning of these scams. Now, they were given additional funding, the IRS, in the Inflation Reduction Act through Biden's administration. And so part of that money was to go to outreach and education, because it's better to educate and prevent scams than to have to investigate them after the fact. And so that's what they're doing. And so he came to us a week before us. He was there in Chicago. So.
Yeah, so you said he's touring all around the country, just like you said, providing this education about all these schemes. And you said there's a whole list of their top schemes, right?
Yeah, they publish every year what's called the Dirty Dozen. So, the top 12 scams that are going around using the IRS impersonation. Our next investigation is with phishing and smishing. So text-based phishing and email-based phishing. And so that's on the top list, and so is senior scams. And so we're just trying to warn people every couple of months just to be on the lookout, because they're worried, and so are we, that scams are on the rise. And with artificial intelligence, it's easier to impersonate people. Mm-hmm. So we want people to keep a lookout.
Yeah, and you
again, yeah.
Yeah, and you've been doing this for a while. You were with Mike Holfeld before this, doing schemes and ripoffs. Now you're with Lewis Bolden working on this. So you've kind of seen it all, and these are often targeting our senior citizens, right?
Yeah, because they're used to doing it the old-fashioned way. You get a phone
Mm-hmm.
call, you think it must really be the IRS, and they get scared because they want to pay their taxes the right way, and they don't want to go to jail. So they're like, okay, just tell me where to send the money. But
Yep.
in fact, they're now with they can just clone the phone number, make it look like they're coming in as if they're the IRS. They have legitimate looking logos. They have legitimate looking websites, and links. And so you're thinking, geez, maybe I didn't pay them. And then what they get you with, and we mentioned it in the piece, and this is the big red flag, is the urgency. You got to pay it now. You're going to go to jail. And that's not true. The IRS insisted during the interview, what we do is we send in a letter by mail. So you can tell they're not really worried about it being that urgent, because we know how long snail mail takes. Then when you get the letter, on the letter is going to have options for making the payments. They're not going to make you pay on a prepaid debit card or, through a cashier's check or a wire transfer immediately. They're going to give you you can do a payment plan. They have different options. You can send a check, all sorts of things. So that urgency is the main thing. And then the way that they're making you pay is another thing, the red flag to look out for. And if anything else, if you're not sure and you get this kind of thing, again, they want you to just go to irs.gov. That's the real thing. And they have these things called taxpayer assistance centers. They call them TAX for short, TAC. And if you just go on their website, you can find one near you. You can physically talk to someone in person. That way, if you're worried that it's an imposter, get an appointment with the Taxpayer Assistance Center on their website and go there in person and say, is this legit? And they'll probably tell you, no, it's not. And if it is legit, then they're going to help you work out a way to pay it. So
Absolutely.
that's a good tip. Yeah.
Yeah, and the IRS is enormous, and they have much bigger fish to fry than Joanne and Oviedo. So they're not going to be harassing people for over
No.
a couple of bucks. So when in doubt, make that phone call and protect yourself before you go rushing out and giving away your life savings in Bitcoin or.
Yeah, if you get a weird text, just do some research. Stop and take a breath. Think about it for a second. Remember what News 6 told you.
Yes.
It's probably a scam.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Robert, thank you again so much for giving us your time today. I appreciate you going over all this with us. It's great information. And of course, if you ever need more of that information, we have it online at clickorlando.com/investigators. You can find all of Robert and Lewis's investigations along with all of our investigators there any time of day or night. Robert, thank you again.
No problem. Take it easy.
So we are going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Lake Mary Little League and their historic win at the Little League World Series and what comes next for these kids. That'll be coming up in just about 90 seconds. Welcome back to Take 6. It is 12:39 right now on your Monday. If you haven't been following along, or if you've just been living under a rock in general, the Lake Mary All-Stars made a historic win last night at Lombardy Stadium in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, winning the Little League World Series, beating Taipei in a 2-1 win. Our News 6 anchor, Justin Warmoth, has been there since the beginning with these kids, following them along the way. He has a look at their huge win last night and then what's coming next for them.
Lake Mary's magical season came down to this. With 2 outs, down by 1, DJ Miesis delivered. When you're up at the plate and the pressure's on the line, how do you block everything out?
I just have one ear, and then I just let out the other one.
Just don't let it get inside.
Yeah.
Lathan Norton, who was sick and had to miss the U.S. championship game, took control on the mound in this one, making sure his teammates had a shot to walk it off. Lathan, you had to miss yesterday's game. I know that killed you.
It sucked. I almost lost my voice watching the game.
He woke up this morning and said, "Mom, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to play it today. This is my time, and I'm going to do it. My dream's coming true today."
How did it feel to be back on the mound today and to lead your team to this point?
It felt so good. I knew that if I stepped on that mound, or when I stepped on that mound, I was not going to give up any runs.
And he didn't. And in the bottom of the 8th inning, with Lathan on second base, Hunter Alexander, the last hitter in the lineup, put down the bunt heard round the world.
I was just thinking, just stay fair, and then I looked up, knowing at first, I'm like, and then after that, ball goes past me, I say, let's go. And then when I see him slide, I look behind me, he slides, I'm like, yeah, and then everyone starts coming out, and I give them all, it's just great.
The boys not only embracing each other, but comforting the Chinese Taipei team after a crushing loss.
I mean, how could you not? They're runner-up. They played a great game. We went 8 innings. I mean, great team. How could you not comfort them after that tough game?
And then the celebration was on. From the field
2-1 is the final.
to the bracket.
I couldn't be prouder of Liam or the rest of the kids. It's just absolutely amazing to watch these guys.
You guys manifested this.
We did. From the beginning, we just said, last year we were so afraid of jinxing anything, and then this year we just said, we're manifesting it, we're making it happen. They worked insanely hard, and we did it. They never allowed, I just kind of love the fact that it came down to the bottom of the 6th, 2 outs, our last moment, but we said, not done yet. The job is not done.
Mom, what can you say about your boy?
I love Taraj!
3, 2, 1, go! To the famous Lomity Hill. How's it feel to be the best Little League team?
Feels good.
This is every person's dream. Every single Little League baseball player.
Feels great. I mean, from the start, I knew we had something.
A fitting end to an unbelievable summer, our summer.
We came here to do something. We came here to do a job, and today we accomplished that job. We said the whole time it wasn't done. We took a loss to Texas. We battled all the way back, and here we are to talk about how we won this whole thing.
It has been an incredible story to watch. The Little League team has been nothing but heart this whole time. They came back from a loss, and now they're coming home champions. If you have missed any of this along the way, we have all of our coverage on clickorlando.com. You can find all of our stories, including our bet with our sister station in Texas, KSAT. They are going to be giving $1,000 to the Lake Mary team, and in turn, we are donating $1,000 back to the Bernie team, who ended up losing to us the second time around. Losing to us, I had nothing to do with it. Losing to Lake Mary the second time around, allowing them to move on, win the U.S. championship, move on to the World Championship, and win. And of course, we are going to have so much more coverage of the Lake Mary team. They are going to be having a parade this weekend, Saturday, and we are going to have coverage of it starting at 9:30 a.m. and then going on through 11. We're going to watch as they march through Lake Mary, and we're going to bring it to you live on air and online at clickorlando.com, on News 6 Plus, and our YouTube channel. You won't want to miss any of that. Now we're going to take a look at the weather, and I am about to do something I have never done before. I am going to look at a 7-day forecast and try and explain it to you all. Hopefully you can follow along. Right out now outside, it is looking very Florida out there, and it looks like it's going to be very Florida all week long. As you can see, we have about a 50% chance of rain every single day this week, except for the weekend, 60%. We're hoping that the weather stays good for that parade in Lake Mary. The temperatures are going to be in the lower to mid-90s all week long, lows in the 70s overnight, and that is about the extent of my weather knowledge right there. Thank you so much for joining us today on Take 6. I hope that you enjoyed. Julie Broughton will hopefully be back tomorrow, and I don't have to do that again, but I appreciate you all bearing with me through this. If you ever... You can find all of our coverage on clickorlando.com, along with all of the coverage of the Lake Mary Little League team and the investigator stories at clickorlando.com/investigators. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you today starting at 4.